We are back with Romeo and Juliet, the read-along. Miss Unterlander, who are you going to be playing today?
In scene 3, I will be playing Lady Capulet.
Excellent. I guess that leaves the nurse for me. I'll take the serving man as well. And for the student, that leaves Juliet for you. So, Miss Unterlander, can you offer some tips to the student when they're reading Juliet today?
So when you approach Juliet, I'd like you to think about her moment before. So remember, Juliet is not quite 14. She's a young woman in Verona, and part of one of these warring families. And in her family and life, in marriage is something that's one of the most important things for a young woman. And so think about her moment before and how maybe you would want to portray Juliet. Do you think she is excited about the prospect of getting married, or is she worried about it? So think of the kinds of emotions that she would be having when her mother comes and confronts her with the idea.
Excellent. Sounds great. Either way, she sounds like a very innocent character who's just exploring a completely unknown world. Okay, so we'll start with scene 3. So in the previous scene, we had Romeo and Benvolio intercepted. Am I looking at the correct scene? They intercepted some communications from the Capulets and discovered there's a party tonight.
They did, and they decided they wanted to crash it.
Excellent. And so this is a little interlude scene where the nurse and Lady Capulet and Juliet are talking about Juliet's future prospects. So let us begin.
Yes,
go ahead.
Well, in that scene that just happened as well, before Romeo and Benvolio get that guest list, we see Capulet and Paris speaking to each other. And Paris is asking Capulet for his daughter's hand in marriage. So that's probably where Lady Capulet has gotten this idea to approach her daughter now.
I understand Paris is a bit of a hunk too. Well, let's see how Juliet responds to this. All right, here we go in scene 3. Enter Lady Capulet and the nurse.
Nurse, where's my daughter? Call her forth.
Now, by my maidenhead, a 12-year-old, I bade her come. What lamb, what ladybird, God forbid. Where is this girl? What? Juliet!
Your mother. This is the matter. Nurse, give leave a while. We must talk in secret. Nurse, come back again. I have remembered me. Thou hearest our counsel. Thou knowest my daughter's of a pretty age.
Faith, I can tell her age unto an hour.
She's not 14.
I'll lay 14 of my teeth, and yet to my teen it be it spoken, I have but 4, she is not 14. How long is it now till Lammas-tide?
A fortnight and odd days.
Even a rod of all the days in the year, come Lammas Eve at night, shall she be 14. Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age. Susan is with God. She was too good for me. But as I said, on Lammas Eve, at night shall she be 14. That shall she. Mary, I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years. She was weaned, I shall never forget it, of all the days of the year upon that day. For I had then laid wormwood to my dug, sitting in the sun under the dove-house wall, and my lord and you were at Mantua. Nay, do I bear a brain, but, as I said, when it did taste the wormwood on the nipple of my dug and felt it bitter, pretty fool, to see it tetchy and fall out with the dug, shake, quoth the dove-house, 'twas no need, I trow. Trudge, and since that time, it's 11 years, for then she could stand high lone, nay, by the rood, she could have run and waddled all about, for even the day before she broke her brow, and then my husband, God be rest his soul, he was a married man, took up the child. Yea, quoth he, dost thou fall upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou hast more wit. Will thou not, Jewel? And by my holy dam, the pretty wretch left crying, and said, Aye, to see now how a jest shall come about, I warrant, and I should live 1,000 years, I never should forget it. Wilt thou not, Jewel? Quoth he. And pretty fool, it stinted, and said, Aye.
Enough of this, I pray thee, hold thy peace.
Oh, yes, madam, yet I cannot choose but laugh to think it should leave crying and say, Hey. And yet, I warrant, it had upon its brow a bump as big as a cockerel's stone, a perilous knock, and it cried bitterly, Yea, quoth my husband, fallest thou upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou comest to an age. Wilt thou not, Jewel? It stinted and said, Ay. Peace, I have done. God mark thee to his grace. Thou wast the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed, and I might live to see thee married once. I have my wish.
Mary, that Mary is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married?
An honor? Were not I thine only nurse, I would say thou hadst sucked wisdom from thy teat.
Well, think of marriage now. Younger than you here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already mothers. By my count, I was your mother much upon these years, but you are now a maid. Thus, then, in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love.
Oh, a man, young lady, such a man as all the world, why, he's a man of wax.
Verona's summer hath not such a flower.
Nay, he's a flower in faith, a very flower.
What say you? Can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read o'er the volume of young Paris's face, and find delight writ there with Beauty's pen. Examine every married lineament, and see how one another lends content. And what obscured in this fair volume lies, find written in the margin of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him, only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride for fair without the fair within to hide. That book in many's eyes doth share the glory, that in gold clasps locks the golden story. So shall you share all that he doth possess, by having him making yourself no less.
No less, nay, bigger. Women grow by men.
Just speak briefly. Can you like of Paris's love?
Madam, the guests are come, supper served up. You called? My young lady asked for, the nurse cursed in the pantry, and everything in extremity. I must hence to wait. I beseech you, follow straight.
We follow thee. Juliet, the county stays.
Go, girls, seek happy nights to happy days. And that concludes Act 1, Scene 3. So how do you think she's feeling right now about marriage?
Are you asking me or the students?
Both, in fact. Let's give them a second to talk about it. And what do you think, Miss Unterlander?
Well, I think she's got a mixture of feelings. There's some nervousness. She feels young and not ready, but there's also that excitement that she's caught somebody's eye. Somebody who could be made of wax.
Paris
so beautiful.
Absolutely. Paris caught the nurse's eye, that's for sure. But Juliet says it is an honor I dream not of. So she seems to be one who's a little hesitant to jump in. Even though he's apparently a really good looking dude, she's a little hesitant. So for the student, think about why she might not want to jump into this relationship just yet, especially knowing what we know about this story, Romeo and Juliet, the fact that later you know that Romeo and Juliet are a thing, and that happens in a very short period of time. So she's not afraid of getting into a relationship without really knowing a person. So there must be something else going on there. So that concludes this reading of Act 1, Scene 3. Thank you for joining us.